Spurs smash and grab, Chelsea leave it late in the tune, and City are hunted by Wolves. We've got you covered for all the Premier League action from this weekend's game week fixtures. I'm Mike, he's Dave, and this is the Top Bins Premier League review show. We've got plenty to talk about this week from Game Week 3, so let's get straight into the nuts and bolts of it. Davey,
mate,
welcome back to
Pleasure to be here.
another beautiful week. Let's go to Molineux first and foremost, probably the shock result of the weekend. 1-1. What do you think?
I thought Wolves played very well.
They did, mate. They played very well.
They played the kind of football you want to see from a team that's just been promoted. They went out there to try and win the game.
They did. I thought they were excellent from the first whistle, and what they did really, really well. And not a lot of teams are going to do this against City, especially teams who are going to think they're going to be in the lower half of the table. They pressed. They pressed high. They pressed in pack, for want of a better word. They pressed in packs. They pressed as a unit, and they were really intense. Lots of energy, and I mentioned it in our preview show that I thought that they would be at it. That midday crowd that you get on a Saturday afternoon kickoff, it really does fire you up to kind of go out there and want to play your best. And if you're going to go out and chase players and harry them and press high, it's going to be the perfect atmosphere for that. I thought they did really, really well. They created chances as well. They didn't just sneak a goal.
No, not at all.
They could have scored a few.
And I think you're seeing a Premier League quality midfield pairing in Neves and João Moutinho. I mean, they were outstanding. And up against high quality opposition, they did not look out of class.
Mate, both of them were phenomenal. Up and down, not only doing the pretty side of a midfielder's job, going forward, doing the kind of supporting of the forward players, making sure you link up really nicely, but then to play the kind of defensive role as well, both of them, making sure you're breaking up attacks, you're tracking players like David Silva, you're tracking those danger men, Raheem Sterling, you're making sure that you're giving your defence the best shot at keeping a clean sheet. That work is admirable, and it's not easy to do, and they both did it really well.
I thought the whole team played for each other. I thought the manager had done a great job of making them play as a team. There was no individual performance. It was just, we are Wolves, we're at home.
That's right.
Let's make this hard for them. And they blooming well did.
Mate, they'll get plenty of points this season. They play like that.
They will. Yeah. They will.
Let's go to the goals. Bolly, it was a handball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a handball. No doubt about it.
All day.
I mean, it brings me to the question, Dave, and to you guys watching this as well. Let us know in the comments. Do we need VAR?
We've seen enough in 3 weeks that questionable decisions that at the World Cup weren't questionable because someone reviewed it. And for right or wrong, I think, there's been red cards, there's been penalties, there's been all sorts. This is just the latest addition to a long list already.
Yeah.
I think the Premier League need to bring in VAR.
Yeah. And City, unlikely goal scorer, Laporte.
Was indeed, but a well-taken header. And you watch the slow-mo of it, he sees the run.
Gets up nicely as well, doesn't he?
Away.
Gets up nicely.
Yeah.
Gundogan just puts it on that penalty spot. He knows where he just wants to put it there for his defenders to attack. That's all you can do when you're delivering a set piece there. Put it in the mixer, the right area. You're not aiming for a particular player. You're just putting it there and you're saying to your defenders and your big men in the box, get on the end of that, son. Absolutely. Put your head on it. And he did. Laporte got there. Buried it. I mean, City were unlucky, weren't they? They hit the woodwork a couple of times. Aguero in a 93rd minute with the free kick. He hit the bar with that. I mean, they still played decently, even though there was a draw there.
I thought Rui Patricio played
outstanding,
extremely well. And yes, Aguero hit the post and the bar.
Yeah.
Certainly 2 bits of woodwork.
Yeah.
And he played well, but I thought Rui Patricio really commanded his area.
That save from Sterling, phenomenal save. Hats off to you, Rui. That was a cracking save,
played,
mate.
sir.
Brilliant. Played. So City, I mean, it is an unexpected result. I still think they're going to be strong as anything this season, aren't they?
If anything, it kind of just scares me more.
Yeah,
because what are they going to be like after this?
Yeah, they're going to come out firing.
But then, what does it say about the result against Huddersfield, how they felt going into this game? I don't know. I want to think a lot of this is Wolves were excellent, and I do think a lot of it Wolves were excellent, and City weren't poor.
No.
But how much did that big scoreline sort of sit in their mind and make them maybe think, oh yeah,
bit easy, we're going to cruise over them,
cruise over to Molineux and take the points, and it was a lot harder than that. And but I mean, there are teams that are going to fold much easier than Wolves will.
And the thing is, Wolves, and this is the last point on this game that I'm going to make, but Wolves played a different style to most teams, and I saw something from Guardiola in the press saying that he'd much rather play a team like Wolves with that attitude and the way they approach the game in November, December, once you've warmed up to the season a bit, once your big players are firing on all cylinders and they're really getting into it. You don't want to play them third game into the season because you might get caught out cold a little bit, and that's what happened, wasn't it?
Well, it was, and I praise Pep for that. I thought he was great in the media, and he was full of compliments for both Nuno and Wolves.
Yep.
You know, a little backhanded in the sense that he was suggesting some of the other maybe lower half Premier League teams just park the bus against them.
Yeah, which they do.
But that's not wrong, and he praised them for going out to try and win the game. I thought that was, everything about what he does, I like. Yeah. I mean, I do like the way he talks to the media. He's very honest. Pep's a good manager.
He is good. Hats off to Wolves. Well done, Wolves.
Well played.
Old Trafford. We could have very well. Now, Jose, before you write in, mate, and you complain to us about this, we could have very well called this Roasting Mourinho Part 3.
That would have been three.
Respect. All right. So United Spurs. I called it. You called it in the predictions last week. We saw a Spurs win.
We did,
but we didn't see it in the manner that it actually played out in on Monday. So talk to me about what you saw in the game.
I saw United come out pretty strong at home, as you'd expect, and I saw them put some pressure on. I was pretty disappointed with some of the finishing. They got some great opportunities in that first half.
Got to bury that, and he just he's done the hard work. He's gone around the keeper.
Danny Rose just gave him a goal.
Just shocking. It really needs to be. And again, I feel for Mourinho there because they cut to him there, and that finish when Lukaku missed that open goal. And he's distraught. His £75 million striker, one of the world's best strikers, is missing an open goal there pretty much. If that's Fernando Torres, he's getting ripped apart for days after that. I think Lukaku's got to take a bit of stick there.
I just think it's a continuing trend for Lukaku where you get a big game and he just goes missing. And he's done this. He did it for years for Everton. He'll score bags of goals against lesser opposition. You put him up against someone decent, and he'll struggle. But with this, there's no excuse. There's no defender on him.
No.
There's no keeper.
He's got plenty of time as well. When he gets around him, he's got plenty of time.
He could have walked it in.
Yeah.
And he chose to snap the shot, and awful.
Rich man's Olivier Giroud, mate. That's what I'm calling him. Flat track bully, old Lukaku.
That's right.
All right. Now let's talk about Spurs a little bit. Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. United were the better team in that first half, and what they did is they had a lot more of the ball and they used it quite well, and they defended all right in the first half. They weren't poor. They didn't create a hell of a lot in the first half. It wasn't like they were creating chances every time they went forward. They had a lot of ball, and they did have the better chances in the first half. But then Spurs came out, and you know what? I think Spurs were smart. They knew that United at some point would slip up defensively. They knew United were there for the taking, and they knew they had the quality of player to be able to take advantage of that. And what we saw was a player of that quality in Lucas Moura.
That's right. I thought they weathered the storm in the first half.
That's right.
I think they slowly built into the game, whether that was a tactic or just how it worked out on the night.
Yeah.
Lucas Moura, centrally, is just a different player.
Dangerous.
Out on the wing, he's got great pace, but you just weren't getting him the ball.
Can't affect the game in the same way he can when he's central.
Boy, he's affecting the game in the middle, isn't he? I mean, he's been brilliant so far, and both finishes were great.
Yep.
All of his link-up play was excellent. I think he's outplaying Dele Alli at the moment.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's definitely what he's done as well is he's really helped Spurs fill that Son gap that they've got. Where Son's away at the Asian Games, you're thinking they've lost a touch of that pace, that forward pace they've got. Because Kane, he's mobile. He's not rapid though.
No,
Ali, not rapid. Eriksen, not rapid. They've got a lot of their pace is in their back line, in their fullbacks, in Trippier and Aurier and those kind of players. But what Mora's done is he's kept that, he's allowed them that extra pace up front, and he really showed that. And I'll tell you what, both goals were, especially the second
was
phenomenally taken goals. The first one is very hard. You've got that ball coming across. Again, we talked about this with Bernardo Silva the other day. It's not an easy thing to do, to hit a moving ball coming across your body when you've got pressure. Herrera was on him. Herrera's foot was there on Mora's foot when he hit him, and he's buried that. He's put that bottom corner.
And look, Herrera's not a centre-back.
No, he's not.
And we could talk about that selection all
we
day.
will talk about that, Dave.
But he still had a man right on him.
Yeah.
And I agree, very hard skill. I was really impressed. I've been impressed with them all season so far. And I was just impressed with the way that Spurs, once they scored the first, as a whole team, they lifted and they just took the game away.
Controlled it, and you know what? I think the linchpin in controlling that, and he's done it a lot of times. I'm a really big fan of him. Moussa Dembele controls a game so well. He once he gets the ball, he makes good decisions. He's strong as an ox, that fella. You can't get him off the ball. He breaks up play. He's a very, very good player.
He is. And they talked about a potential transfer with him leaving.
That'd be a shocker if they let him go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Danny Rose, while obviously the back pass was shocking, it wasn't the only shocking back pass of the game.
But he had a decent game.
He had a pretty good game as well. And the talk of him leaving, I'd say, has left now.
Well, they're saying PSG want him, but I can't see him moving to PSG now at this stage of the game. So I think he'll be there for at least until the summer.
Well, there's not a month left for Daniel Levy to negotiate, so there's no chance of a transfer.
That's right. Point. Daniel Levy will want a pretty penny. Last comment on the game before we just quickly revert back to Mourinho and the press conference and what's happening there. Herrera at centre back. I mean, I know when he's laid his team out in different transitions of play, Herrera's not playing a centre back in that squad, but he was essentially a third centre back, and it really was a strange thing to see.
It smacks of desperation. The whole backline did. We were terrible last week, so I'll change everything.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I've done that in Football Manager a billion times. But this is what happens. You're putting in Jones and Smalling, who've not played a lot. They've turned up in a massive game at home and been exposed awfully. Yeah. And Herrera is just sitting there between two other guys that don't know what they're doing. No one was communicating. They just look lost.
It's got to be Bailly and Lindelof next game, sure. Sorry, Bailly and Smalling.
Bailly and Smalling.
Lindelof came on, had a shocker again. Oh. I mean, that lad is going to be going to bed every night now, having absolute nightmares about his performances. He's going to be shaking under his sheets. It's a shocker.
It's been Luke Shaw up until now. It's taken the brunt of all of that from Jose, but now I think he's got a new target. But he brought him in.
He did.
He wanted him, and they paid big money for him, and he has been a horrendous flop. So.
All right, quickly describe to me what your take is on Mourinho's latest press conference. What's going on there?
It's just deflection.
Yeah.
I mean, it's anything to stop talking about what we're talking about. I'm a great manager, therefore you have to respect me. Well, we all know the media don't respect you. Yeah. You're judged on your last performance.
That's right.
But when your last performance was a shocker, and then this one's a shocker,
you're going to get called out. When you're United manager, you're going to get called out. And like I said before, I do feel for Mourinho a little bit. I think that he does get probably a little bit too much compared to other managers, considering he has won a lot in the English game and in the world or European game as well. He is a proven manager. But at the moment, he's just not doing it at a club that expects to do it.
And he brings it on himself.
That's right.
He asks for this kind of treatment with the way he talks and the way he turns around on issues. You know, I'll criticise my players one week, then we'll lose, and I won't say a bad word against any of them. Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense.
Nah, he's inconsistent management.
I don't get the whole situation, living in a hotel, not buying a house. Like, what are you expecting to happen here? You're clearly not planting any roots. You don't want to build something good.
Doesn't believe in it, does he?
In and out.
Yeah. Arsene Wenger must be sitting at home laughing his little head off.
Well, I think he'll be waiting for that tweet for specialist in failure, won't he?
Sitting on his pile of money at home, I must add, and laughing his head off. But Mourinho must have saved that three Champions thing as well, and waited for this season, because he couldn't have done it last season with Wenger in charge.
No, that's
because it wouldn't have been true.
But it was just an odd thing to say, like 3-0, 3-0. It's like, 3-0.
It was a very poor transition, wasn't
it? And then to walk out saying respect. I just thought you're showing incredible disrespect.
Yeah.
To your club, in my opinion, walking out like that, but to the media in front of you, and you're asking for people to treat you with respect.
Toonami against Chelsea. I mean, this was one of... I watched this game, and this was one of the strangest Premier League games I've watched, just in terms of the fact that one Premier League team against another Premier League team had 82% possession over a whole game. One of their players, Jorginho, made 19 passes more than the whole Newcastle team did in the first half. I mean, it was a very odd game. A lot of possession from Chelsea, but very ineffective.
It was. And Jorginho, look, yeah, great stat.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
You watch the game, they're all backwards or sideways.
That's right.
Jordan Henderson copped a lot for this, and
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to bring Liverpool into this, but I think at the World Cup, a lot of people started to realise that he does pass the ball forward and he does a lot of pressing. Jorginho's just sitting back and playing those easy passes, and the stats all look great at the end of the season. The pass completion, passes attempted, but is he cutting teams open? And we're talking about a Newcastle team that did the exact opposite of what Wolves did.
Yep.
They decided, we'll just sit back, 5 at the back, and we will just soak up as much pressure as we can and hope for a mistake. And on another day, they
nearly got away with it. They nearly got a draw as well. They nearly got a draw on there. So, I mean, you can't... I mean, you can knock it because it was horrendous to watch. It was really bad to watch Newcastle just sit in and just throw bodies at the ball like they were a League Two team. I mean, if I was a Newcastle fan, I would not. They've been treated to some good teams over the years and some good football, and that is not the standard that's been set down there. But Rafa's doing what he thinks he can do with the team he's got, right?
Well, he has got nothing.
That's right.
Ashley won't support him. We're talking about Mourinho and potentially not being supported in the summer. Here's a guy who hasn't been supported since coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets loan signings and the odd... Dubravka was a good signing, but he had to beg and plead for that on a 6-month loan. And I genuinely feel for Rafa. I mean, what are you going to do against Chelsea with the squad he's got?
Yep.
You're just looking to survive this year and hope that the club gets sold. But what's going on with the couple of boys that didn't play?
Yeah, I mean,
was Lascelles actually sick? He didn't look very sick in the stands.
John Joe Shelby's missing out. He said John Joe Shelby's going to be out for a couple of weeks. It was strange. It was very strange. A big game. You want your big players playing, and there was nothing during the week mentioned about those boys being out.
The rumour has come out since the game, which I'm sure you've heard as well, is that there was a team meeting about formation.
Yeah,
and Rafa brought the sheet and the tactics in, and Lascelles basically said, I'm not playing in that formation. So I really hope that's not true, because he's your club captain. He's got a huge future.
Yeah, he has.
And
good defender.
Rafa doesn't really take kindly to that sort of stuff.
They need Shelby as well. If they're going to do anything this season, he is the man it goes through.
We can't let Kennedy take penalties, so you have to have Shelby on the pitch, don't you?
We saw that. All right, let's go back to Chelsea. I know Eden Hazard gets a lot of praise, and rightly so. He's a very, very good player. I genuinely think at the moment, more important to Chelsea is Marcus Alonso.
I couldn't agree more.
He is. Without him, in the last few games, they would have been stuck.
He's finishing like a midfielder, not like a fullback. He's running like a winger, but positioning himself beautifully defensively. He's just in everything.
He is. He's doing really well. And what he's doing as well, he does that really well. He does that run from outside to in, which not a lot of fullbacks do. A lot of fullbacks start off narrow in a 4 or a 3, and then they go wide, and they go on the outside. And he does that drift into the box, which we saw him do for the penalty. Was it a penalty, Dave?
Well, this is where VAR would be useful again. I've watched it 6 times.
Yeah.
Chelsea fans are going to hate me, but I don't think it's a penalty.
No, I see. We're going to disagree on this. I think it was a penalty, simply because, again, I think that he's coming from behind him. He's lunged in from behind him. Yes, he's got the ball, but whenever you make a challenge in the box and you're off your feet and you're coming from behind a player who is moving towards goal, you're giving the referee a chance to make a decision. And I think I think that it was a penalty. I think if I was refereeing that game and I had the position the ref had there, I would have given the pen.
I don't disagree with he's put a chance for a penalty by making that tackle. He's made the referee make a decision. What I will counter with, he rolls over the ball.
He does.
If he hits that ball cleanly and it boots out,
then he's probably
I don't think that's a penalty.
Yeah, fair point.
And then if you're just talking about how well you connected with the ball,
it
should just be, did you connect with the ball? So, lots of room for debate on that one. But, certainly Alonso is really he's fantasy gold.
He is, mate. I know, absolute gold. Let's move on. So we've got some absolute cracking games in some of the other games this week. We'll start with Arsenal and West Ham, the Emirates.
What's Aubameyang doing?
We've both been talking. I think we must have spent 3 or 4 hours this week already talking about if we get rid of Aubameyang, which we have to, surely. Who do we put in for him this week in our fantasy teams? I mean, the key to his confidence is shot, isn't it?
It's got to be. I mean, he's missing worse than Lukaku's missing.
Had another good chance again, didn't he? Had another good chance, and yeah, it was on target. And it got cleared and blocked before it went on target. But if he's on form, if he's scoring goals, he's burying that.
Dortmund, he scored those with his eyes.
He's lifting that. He's going top bins. He's putting it in the corner. He's not messing about. I just think that he's lacking so much confidence. I genuinely think there's a chance he gets dropped this weekend. Lacazette gets put. Lacazette looks a lot livelier, and there's no reason he's not going to start both of them. He wants Ramsey playing week in, week out through the middle. So if he does that, then one of them's got to sit on the bench, and I think that Aubameyang's going to get dropped this week.
Well, they've got a couple of dilemmas, don't they? Because Ozil's their highest paid player. He's just signed a huge new contract. I think it's $300,000 a week.
Yeah.
I don't think he fits
he's
the
getting
system.
$300,000 a week, mate.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't think he fits the system there, and I think you're leaving a new manager a real problem with, I've got to make this guy fit.
Yeah.
I don't know where to fit him. Because Aubameyang, he's got to prove himself. And Lacazette is saying, pick me.
That's
And
right.
right now, it'd be an absolute no-brainer for me.
The dilemma they've got, Dave, is that they both need to be up through the middle. They're not the kind of strikers that you want one of them out wide and one of them down the middle. You want a Cole and York partnership going on there. You want them two proper strikers thinking about linking up and being hungry and getting goals and causing defences problems with their pace, their trickery, their skill and their ability to finish. And he doesn't look willing to do that right now. Even though pre-season he got a lot of joy from them playing together.
I think playing them together is the only way you're going to get Aubameyang playing well.
Yeah, I agree. All right. West Ham, I'm going to say it every week, they stink of it. They absolutely stink of it. Their defence, no matter what, they tried to change it this week, got rid of Ogbonna and Zabaleta, chucked them out. They put the lad Diop in there. They were rubbish again. I mean, yeah, all right, they went forward and caused Arsenal problems, but a lot of Sunday League teams will cause Arsenal defence problems because they pretty much defend with two centre-backs, and that's it. So when you go 4-on-2 with anyone, you're going to struggle to defend properly because Monreal and Bellerin, they're great going forward, but god damn, if I was Mustafi or Socrates, I would be absolutely bricking it every time they went forward because they just don't get back. And you're just exposed. Absolutely. West Ham had chances, and we expected them to have chances, but they look terrible at the back.
They do. They look terrible at the back. They look terrible in midfield.
They do. Yeah.
I thought Felipe Anderson
shining light when he
had a great game.
Yeah, he was. He looked like the first time I've seen him for West Ham, where he's looked like he's worth the money and worth the hype that we've been giving him, and a lot of others have been giving him.
It's going to be a long season for him to try and
I'll tell you
maintain.
What, Arnautovic and Anderson have got a lot on their shoulders to carry that team because Noble and Wilshere and that midfield is just bang average, and Snodgrass is horrible. I mean, these players, I know they've played in the Premier League football for a while. They're not good enough for this league now, and West Ham are going to go down if they don't change what they're doing. I know they've spent 100 million this season and they got Pellegrini in charge. They will get relegated at this rate. I
was actually pretty pleased with the decision for Pellegrini. I thought, wow, good management.
I thought
decision.
so too.
I thought you've brought in someone with some experience, with a bit of class, someone who's got a bit of mana that the team can sort of learn from. But he's just not getting anything right management wise. It's just been a shambles.
It has. All right, let's move on. Bournemouth Everton, another cracker. We called it again. It was always going to be a cracker. Always goals in this fixture, but couple of talking points here. The two red cards. Richarlison, fantasy league managers crying themselves to sleep on Saturday night after Richarlison got himself sent off. Petulant, wasn't it?
It was just stupid. And this is, I guess, he's talked in the last week about, I want to win the Golden Boot.
I want to play for Brazil.
I want to play for Brazil. And then you go out and do that. Okay, he's
a young lad, but
he's just been called up to the Brazil team for the international window, but that's only because of injury.
Yeah,
he's not going to start, but I just think, boy, you're hurting your career by doing silly things like that.
He's not even nutted him properly. He's just giving him
and that's it. If you're going to do it, at least break his
Jamie
nose.
Vardy him and do him properly. Other red card, Adam Smith.
Well, he took the big dive for the first little touch, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it was kind of karma, wasn't it?
But wasn't a red card for me.
Wow. It wasn't.
Walcott came out after the game and said he expected it to be a yellow card. He turned around and he thought that he wasn't really in like the most obvious goal scoring position. He still was 25 yards out from goal. There were defenders on the cover. It seems harsh.
I don't think it was a red. It was ugly, but I don't think it was a red. But I think when you put yourself in the referee's mind, okay, it wasn't a yellow card with the incident with Richarlison, but he put himself in the referee's mind, and the referee probably thought, you've made a lot of that. So the next time he got a chance, he just went, Then it was 50-50. The ref went, you've already pissed me off. I'll get rid of you.
Bournemouth, fair play to Eddie Howe and what he's got there team spirit-wise, because they could have dropped their heads at that point, 2-0 down 10 men, albeit against 10 men as well. But they fought, and they've showed it before, haven't they? They've done it before, they've done it again. What a start to the season for Bournemouth.
I think they've been really good.
Phenomenal.
I'm surprised that they've managed to sort of pick up where they left off to a certain extent. It was cool to see some of the changes he made working out really well for him. Like last season, he'd bring Jordan Ibe on and he'd just go completely missing.
Yeah, but
this game he brought him on and he really had a good afternoon. He did. No, it was good to see.
Yeah, and Everton, Walcott looked dangerous again, didn't he? He scored a goal. Begovic has got to look at himself for that goal. Yeah, you can't be getting beaten there on a near post like that. But,
not at all.
But Walcott's looking good.
Walcott's looking like a different player. And this says a lot about what happened at Arsenal for him. And there was a lot of talk about him never getting to play where he wanted and getting made into a player he wasn't. At Everton, he just seems to be able to play like the player he was when he first got picked. Was he 17 to go to the World Cup? What we thought he might be. Yeah, he'll never be the heights that we expected because of his development got stunted, but just shows that, he's grown up a lot. He can still play. He's still got good pace.
He has, and he knows the game really well. He thinks about the game really well, and I think he picks up really good positions. So he's going to do well this season for Everton.
Better haircut, I'd give him tips all around.
Man, I'm not going to talk about it. Fulham Burnley, another cracker. Didn't see that many goals in this game, but Alexander Mitrovic, hats off to you, son.
Well, you're loving him.
Mate, fantasy goal for me at the moment. Yeah, no, but he's looking good, isn't he?
Newcastle must just be hating this because he couldn't score at all for them. He has a great season in the Championship. I'm guessing that Newcastle, Rafa probably think, but that was in the Championship. You can keep him. And he's just doing the job. I think Fulham play a better style for him, so it suits him a lot better. Yep. But it was also really cool to see, for me, one of the left field signings of the whole window was Fulham picking up Sarri.
Yeah. Hats off to you as well, John Miguel Sarri. I mean, if you're going to put one on a postcard and send it home to mum, that is the one you want. That was absolutely top bins, wasn't it?
I'll just have a first goal in the Premier League. Thank you. It was fabulous.
Quality strike.
And we have seen some great goals in 3 weeks.
We really have. Absolute cracker.
But that is right up there.
I think you're right. Just back on the Mitrovic point, I think you're right, Dave. And again, in the predictions last week, we talked about this. That Mitrovic is, I think, he's a footballing centre forward. He's got a good brain. He's a very good link-up player. And if you just knock long balls into him, you are not going to get joy out of him. He is not that kind of player. But what you will get out of him is when you play into him, link up into feet, into channels, and run off of him, he's going to make things happen. And he's done it. He's looked good linking up the play, but he's also scoring goals, and that's what Fulham need right now. Great win for them.
Very, very big win for them, and I think for their fans as well. It was a great day out for them, and I think that'll make them feel a lot better about what's to come. But, good to your point, Mitrovic, 2 goals and an assist, could have had 4 goals. Yep.
Hit the post again.
I mean, he deserved his hat-trick. He was unbelievably good. And, where was that at the World Cup? But he looks great at Fulham, and they must just be loving that signing right now.
I said it again, but Burnley, they're going to be worried, aren't they, now? And they can't, the strikers are not scoring any goals. They're letting in goals, which they didn't do last season.
That's the problem. I think last season we were used to a rock-solid defence, so they may not score a lot, but they weren't conceding many, but now they're not doing either. And, the forwards don't look to have built any kind of link with each other yet. Chris Wood, flashes of he had about a 7 or 8 game run of form last season where he looked like he was actually there as a Premier League striker. And for about 10 minutes, he looked that guy again, but that was about it.
He's not a confident lad at the moment. No, you know what? I think Jeff Hendrick, he got a goal. He's not a striker.
No,
and he's gonna contribute 6 or 7 maybe this season, but you're going to need someone to step up and bag 20 goals this season. And I don't know if Woods is going to do that at the rate they're going. Tarkowski's their top goal scorer at the moment with 2 goals, and he's their centre back. And I mean, it's a big worry for them.
And he's not playing well defensively.
No.
So I mean, you couldn't drop him because he's your top goal scorer.
That's right.
But he's not playing with the whole back 5 for Burnley is of real concern. And we talked about this last week. How badly was it worth being in Europe to sacrifice maybe being in the Premier League? I
think they're going to feel I genuinely think that they did not expect to have as good a season as they did last season, and they are ill prepared for the season they're going into now with the amount of games they're going to have to play, the mental fortitude that you need to be able to play that many games week in, week out, travel to somewhere like Albania during the week, and then or some random country in Europe, and then come back and play Watford away or Fulham away, and then have to put in a shift again and do the same thing. So it's not easy, Dave.
No, it's not. Thursday to Sunday, you're not getting a lot of rest, and like you say, in the Europa League, the miles travelled far greater than the Champions League,
right. Yep.
And you're going to some far-flung corners of the world, Europe, but when you're travelling to one side of Russia or something like that, it's a trip.
It is, mate. Let's move on to St Mary's, Southampton, Leicester. Another decent game. Another game with lots of talking points. No Vardy, but they got the win. Our boy, we sung his praises, James Maddison, last week. We've been singing his praises since we started this Top Bin show. He didn't even turn up. He weren't there. No. But Leicester got the job done.
Your fantasy pick of the week for left field was our boy Matty, and I certainly hope a lot of you ignored that. That was the testing week.
Don't take advice from Dave or myself on fantasy picks, all right?
Yeah, that's right. You can take score predictions from this but you'll find out more about that later in the week.
Yeah.
But no, not a great game from Maddison. Not entirely a great game of football. It was actually one of the games of the weekend I enjoyed the least.
Yeah.
I was really hoping Southampton could pull a result. But
another cracking goal in the game. Bertrand.
Goal. That's right.
Take your hats off to that.
How long had it been since he scored one? Some phenomenal amount of
years, I think it is.
150th game for Southampton or something.
Crazy. It's been a long time since he scored a goal, and that was an absolute worldie, mate. So
I love it when it's a moment like that and they score a goal that's equal to the moment. It wasn't a tap in. It was a genuine cracker, and good on him.
Slabhead had a great summer.
What is that goal? How is that goal going in?
I mean, honestly, if I'm Claude Puel, 99% of the time, I mean, before I see what happens with the shot, I am ripping him a new one, screaming at him while he's shooting in the 90th minute from 30 yards out or 25 yards out. What is he doing there? It's gone in somehow. I don't know how it's gone in.
Through a miss.
Defenders have miskicked it, and people are falling over, and the keeper's stood there like a lemon. I mean, he's managed to score that. It was a poor decision to have a shot, but he's won the game.
Well, yeah, we can call it a poor decision, but he'll sit there with the 3 points in the bank and say he got it bang on. There was nothing on it. It wasn't even a daisy cutter. It just dribbled in. But, yeah, big questions how that got through, how he was allowed. While I'll give Southampton a bit of credit and say, well, yeah, they didn't rush in to pressure Maguire. They should have. Yeah. Because he was well out of position.
Yeah, he was.
And if they'd put pressure on a guy who's not used to that kind of pressure on the ball in that position, they could have found an opportunity.
The thing is with Maguire as well, you know he's generally going to carry the ball as well, so you should get out to him quickly.
That's right.
We saw it for England all summer. We've seen it for Leicester at the start of this. He loves to carry the ball. So get into him and stop him from doing that. They didn't do it. They paid the price. He shouldn't have been having a shot. He did. He scored. They won the game. Fair play to Leicester.
That's right.
Watford Palace.
Watford Palace. Well, Watford are now 4 unbeaten teams in the league, and Watford's one of them.
Yep.
And you wouldn't have thought that people were thinking, oh, you've sold Richarlison, you've lost your talisman. I don't think they have. I think for me their talisman's Decore. But we talked about a certain guy who only scores fizzy bangers.
And, mate, he pulled it out again, didn't he? A lovely take-a goal again. He doesn't know how to score normal goals. He's like Shaqiri. He doesn't know how to just roll the ball in from 3 yards out off a rebound from the keeper. He only knows how to beat a man and bend it into the side of the net, inside the post, from 20 yards out. Quality finish from Pereira.
He really enjoyed it as well.
Lovely. And he loves it. He loves the old shark, doesn't he?
I love it.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. And Watford will be delighted with their start to the season. They'll be over the moon. They look good as well. Playing some good football, scoring good goals, confidence flowing through the veins of those players. They're a force to be reckoned with at the moment.
I agree. I thought they played very well, but I also think that they came up against a team that's playing pretty poorly.
If anyone, first of all, and we posted something on our Facebook earlier this week, but if anyone has seen Christian Benteke, please call us or call his family, let us know he's safe, because that lad has gone missing. Absolutely missing. When was the last time he scored a Premier League goal, Dave? It's been months since we've seen him at the back of the net.
I just don't get it. I don't know what's happened to him. I mean, Liverpool signed him because he was playing great at Villa, and I don't think anybody could argue. He was fabulous at Villa. He was starting for his country. He was playing great football. Since that move, he's just never found his stride. I don't know whether that was just his level and he got taken out of it.
I fear he's going to disappear into a European League, lower league in the next couple of years, and we're never going to see Benteke playing professional football again after the next few seasons, because the way he's playing, not only is he not scoring, Dave, he is playing horrendously at the moment. He cannot hold the ball up. His touches are all over the shop. He can't link two passes together. He's getting on the end of a few things here and there. He is looking completely... We talked about Aubameyang. He is looking completely bereft of any confidence. I don't know how Hodgson is picking him week in, week out.
I can only assume he's trying to pick him to play through it.
Yeah.
Because you're not picking him on form. But you say we won't see him playing European football. We're not now.
No.
I mean... Last week against Liverpool, he had two chances that he'd scored against Liverpool before for Villa, and he was tucking them away. One of them was closer to the corner post than it was the goal.
Awful.
Same again this week.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Zaha, who's playing good football.
Yeah.
You need someone up there to support him.
Yeah.
And he's not even just being a target man. Like, Giroud isn't scoring goals, but he's getting up and he's getting himself around. He's getting an elbow in the eye, as Michael Test. But Benteke's just not doing anything. He's walking around the pitch. He looks bored.
Does, mate. And I mean, tell you what, he just looks lost at the moment. He looks like he doesn't know where to be because he's second guessing where he should be. He's not playing off the instinct that all good strikers normally play off. And that's a real worry for Palace because, Zaha is going to get you goals and Townsend might chip in with a few and you might get a few from the likes of some of your other midfielders, but ultimately, you need your striker to score goals, and he's not scoring. He doesn't look anywhere near close to scoring.
I think Martin Kelly would play better at the front at the moment. That's saying something.
And look, to be fair to Palace, Ben Foster was on absolutely inspired form. Great signing, I thought. Actually.
Very good signing.
Because they timed it so well, because Gomez has been a great servant to them in goal. But he's getting to that point where he's not as reliable as he has been for Watford anyway. I know he was dodgy back in the day for Spurs, but I think it was a great signing to get Ben Foster because he's proven Premier League, but he's a good goalie, and he's showing it for Watford at the moment.
Well, not a lot of fanfare around the signing really either, was there?
Went under the radar.
It wasn't talked about, but for them, it's just been a fabulous signing. And at the moment, they've got, 50 million in for Richarlison. They don't look to be missing him at all.
No. All right, to your boys, mate. Over to Anfield. Weren't that good a game, to be honest. But you got the job done, and this is what I said about you guys last week as well. I think that we're seeing a different Liverpool this week on two aspects. We're seeing Liverpool keeping clean sheets, the only team in all of the top divisions in English football that have kept a clean sheet, yet to concede, and also you're winning games that you would have drawn last season and the season before. You would have dropped points against a Brighton team that set up like that last season. You would have found it. You might have found it. You might have struggled to break them down the season before last, but you got the win.
Pascal Gross scores that last year.
That's right. Alisson makes a great save there.
I mean, we'll talk about his chip in a minute, but that save was fabulous, and it's. I don't care about winning at 4-0. I know I predicted 4-0. I thought they might have a bit of a rampage, but Chris Hughton's got Brighton playing well. I mean, you don't beat Manchester United playing.
They're well drilled,
football.
Mate. They're well drilled.
They turned up. I won't say they turned up to play because I think they would be a little kind. In patches, they sprung some good counters, but they generally sat back and were compact and played well. But when they did have the ball, they looked good. But it's the fact that we're keeping clean sheets that we couldn't keep. And to be where we are now, I know at the beginning of the series I said we've got a great chance to be 4 from 4.
Yep.
I think going against Leicester this week, we really do have that chance. Obviously, it's still alive, but I think we're in good shape because we look strong at the back.
Yep.
Firmino hasn't hit the stride yet, neither has Salah. Mane had a really off game.
Weird game he had, didn't he?
But they won't be down for long.
No.
And I think we've got now options on the bench. We've got Sturridge, who looked great in pre-season, to be fair. He looks fit. We've got the power cube, Shaqiri.
Yeah.
I think we have got options there, if they are poor, that we can actually jazz it up a bit. But 1-0, I'll take it all day.
Cracking finish.
Big Mo, I wasn't sure what he was going to do. He opened himself up, and I thought, ooh, is this going to go wide? And I thought it might have been a bit like Lukaku's shot, but boy, he nailed it.
Lovely goal that was. And finally, to probably the most predictable, shocking game of the weekend, Huddersfield and Cardiff. I mean, there really wasn't a lot to talk about. We both called it as a close one anyway. We thought it might be a goal in it either way. End up 0-0. It was a shocking game. Very bereft of quality, and I really, really worry for both those teams. I can see them; they've got relegation written over both of them.
Well, we talked about it being a 6-pointer, and I think more so for Huddersfield, if they really want to stay up,
they had
to win that game.
Yeah.
And I think based on the start they've had, they'd probably be quite happy with the point to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I think in about 3 months' time, when they're still in the same position on the table, those 2 points they've dropped here.
The thing is, I think when you're Wagner and you're looking down your fixture list before the season kicks off, you're looking at the games that are in the first 6 to 12 weeks, or you're looking over the whole season. You're running your finger down, you're thinking City away, no. Cardiff at home, that's where you're going to get 3 points. You've got to pick up 3 points. You can't get just points and get draws against teams you need to beat to stay in the league. And I think that they're going to really regret not giving it more of a go in that game. And they're really lacking quality. Both those teams are lacking a lot of quality.
Well, it's interesting. We look at the teams that have come up and the teams that were close to the drop last year.
Yeah.
And it's... I don't see Wolves being anywhere near
I don't
relegation.
No.
I don't see Fulham.
No,
I think they'll be 14, 15.
Yeah.
Huddersfield haven't made any strides. If anything, maybe have gone backwards.
Yeah.
Cardiff look like they'll be in amongst that relegation battle.
Cool.
And heck, at the moment, it could even be Burnley. So
Burnley or West Ham.
Yeah, that's right. So I think Huddersfield, you've just got to take 3 points from this game if you want to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah. All right, well, look, and the final talking point on that one, Jonathan Hogg sent off. Another one, just unbelievable, like ridiculous, petulant aggression in the box on Arter, Harry Arter, and got himself sent off, and not doing his team any favours, is he?
4 red cards for the game week.
That's a lot of red cards, isn't it?
A lot of red cards.
Yeah.
Arter's just been in all that sort of cynical stuff,
isn't he?
He's really making a nuisance of himself, but just stupid, and when you're desperate for points and it's like a 6-pointer like this, getting sent off, you're really harming your team's chances.
That's right. All right, well, that wraps up another game week in the Premier League. Another one with lots of talking points. We've absolutely loved it. If you've loved this, give us a like, give us a subscribe, share this with your friends, and don't forget to check us out on Facebook. It's facebook.com/TopBinsFantasy. And don't forget, we've got more content coming out each and every week with lots of stuff on fantasy football and also our preview of what's going to come up this weekend. Stay tuned.
3 episodes a week.
3.
I say, wall, they told, they know.